Have you ever noticed how life feels the hardest right before something meaningful happens? How just when you think you are finally moving forward, everything around you starts breaking down, the pressure increases, the struggle feels heavier, the road suddenly becomes confusing. And you begin asking yourself if you were ever on the right path to begin with. That moment right there is not random. That moment is important, because most people quit right there without realizing what they were standing so close to. Here is the truth most people never hear. The hardest season often shows up right before the greatest shift of your life. And if you don't understand what is happening, you will mistake preparation for punishment. You will mistake alignment for loss. You will mistake growth for failure. And you will walk away from the very thing you prayed for. Right now, you may feel overwhelmed. Things may feel unstable. Relationships may feel strained. Doors you expected to open may have slammed shut. Your faith may feel stretched. And you might be asking yourself why everything feels like it is falling apart all at once. That feeling is the problem. Because without understanding, pressure feels like rejection instead of purpose. But what if the struggle you are in right now is not there to break you? What if it is there to build you? What if what you are experiencing is not delay, but divine setup? What if God is not pushing you away, but pulling you closer to something you cannot yet see? This is where everything changes. Because once you understand what these moments really mean, you stop panicking, you stop doubting yourself, you stop asking the wrong questions. And instead of quitting, you stand still long enough to see what God is actually doing. If you stay with this message, you will begin to recognize the signs most people ignore. You will understand why pressure increases before purpose is revealed. You will see why things must be removed before something greater can arrive. And by the end, you will realize that what felt like everything falling apart was actually everything falling into place. Life has a strange way of testing you when you are standing on the edge of something important. Just when you feel like you are about to step into a new season, the pressure multiplies. Problems show up without warning. Battles appear that you never signed up for. And suddenly, it feels like you are fighting on every side. This is not coincidence. This is not bad luck. And this is not proof that you are doing something wrong. If anything, it is proof that you are closer than you think. See, the enemy does not waste time on people who are not going anywhere. There is no reason to attack someone who is standing still. The resistance you feel is not because you are weak. It is because you are becoming a threat to what was meant to hold you back. If you were not about to step into something meaningful, the pressure would not be this intense. If you were not approaching a season of favor, the opposition would not feel this personal. The struggle is not random. The struggle is confirmation. The enemy cannot cancel what God has planned for you. But what he can do is try to distract you. He can try to frustrate you. He can try to wear you down emotionally until you doubt yourself enough to quit before you arrive. Maybe people you trusted are suddenly turning against you. Maybe you are being misunderstood or judged unfairly. Maybe your finances have taken an unexpected hit. And now you are wondering how you will even survive this season. Maybe everything that could go wrong feels like it is going wrong all at once. And in those moments, the natural reaction is to ask God, why? Why now? Why me? Why does it feel like everything is falling apart? But there is a better question, a more powerful question. God, what are you preparing me for? Because God never allows pressure without purpose. When gold is refined, it goes through fire. When diamonds are formed, they are shaped by extreme pressure. When a tree is about to grow taller, its roots must grow deeper. And when you are about to be elevated, resistance will show up to test your strength. This is not the moment to break down. This is the moment to pay attention. Because when things feel overwhelming, it often means the breakthrough is closer than ever. Look at every person in the Bible who received something extraordinary. Before David became king, he was hunted like a criminal. Before Joseph ruled Egypt, he was betrayed by his brothers and thrown into prison. Before Jesus rose, he was crucified. Great purpose has never come without great testing. The path to destiny is never smooth. The road to calling is never free of obstacles. And the enemy will always try to convince you that you are unworthy of what God has promised you. It is easy to feel discouraged when life feels unstable. It is easy to believe that maybe you misunderstood God. But you must remember this: before every breakthrough, there is a breaking point. Before every victory, there is a battle. Before every miracle, there is a moment where it looks impossible. That is why quitting now would cost you everything. If you are feeling the weight of opposition right now, this is not the end of your story. You are not under attack because you are losing. You are under attack because you are winning. You're not being tested because you are weak. You are being tested because you are stronger than you realize. The greater the calling, the greater the resistance. The bigger the blessing, the bigger the battle. And whether you feel ready or not, you were built for this. There comes a moment in life when doors you once walked through easily suddenly slam shut. Opportunities that felt guaranteed disappear without explanation. People you thought would always support you begin to pull away. Plans you were confident about start falling apart right in front of you. And when that happens, panic sets in. You wonder what you did wrong. You replay every decision. You question yourself. But what if those closed doors are not failure? What if they are protection? When God is preparing to elevate you, He begins removing what no longer belongs. He shuts doors that would have led you in the wrong direction. He disconnects you from people who would have kept you stuck in a season you were never meant to stay in. Sometimes He does not explain it. Sometimes all you have is faith telling you that He knows what He is doing. It hurts when things do not work out the way you planned. Maybe you thought that job was meant for you. Maybe you invested everything into a relationship that ended unexpectedly. Maybe you were building something with your whole heart, only to watch it crumble. And in those moments, it feels personal, but every closed door is making space for something better. God sees what you cannot see. He knows what looks good, but would trap you. He knows what seems right, but would slow you down. He knows who smiles at you, but does not have your best interest at heart. So He removes it. And here's the hard truth. If you are still holding on to everything you lost, where would you put what God is trying to give you? If your hands are full of the past, you cannot receive the future. Closed doors are not rejection. They are redirection. They are God saying, that is not where I want you. I have something better. When you truly understand that, you stop forcing doors open. You stop begging people to stay. You stop chasing things that are no longer aligned with your purpose. And instead, you walk forward with peace, knowing what is ahead is greater than what you left behind. And this is only the beginning. There comes a time when nothing around you looks different, but everything inside you feels unsettled. You wake up in the same place. You follow the same routine. You talk to the same people. Yet deep within, something feels off. It is like your spirit is quietly telling you that you do not belong where you are anymore. The things that once excited you no longer bring joy. Conversations that used to feel meaningful now feel empty. Goals you chased with passion suddenly feel shallow. And no matter how hard you try to ignore it, there is a constant sense that something is missing. That feeling is not confusion. That feeling is not boredom. And it is not weakness. That is God stirring something inside you. When God is preparing to elevate you, He will not allow you to stay comfortable in a place you have outgrown. He will not let you settle into a season that was only meant to be temporary. Instead, He places a holy discomfort inside your spirit, a restlessness that refuses to let you stay still. A quiet push that keeps urging you forward even when you do not yet know where you are going. You may try to distract yourself. You may try to convince yourself that everything is fine, but the feeling will not leave. It will show up in quiet moments. It will wake you up at night. It will sit heavy on your heart when everything around you seems calm. That discomfort is not meant to frustrate you. It is meant to prepare you, because God is shifting you into a new season and He needs you to be ready for what comes next. Here's where the decision matters. When restlessness shows up, you have a choice. You can resist it. You can cling to what is familiar. You can force yourself to stay in a place your soul has already outgrown. Or you can lean into it. You can trust that discomfort is a sign of transformation. You can accept that God is calling you higher, even if the path is not yet clear. Growth is never easy. But staying in a place where your spirit no longer fits is far more painful. Deep down, you already know the truth. You were not meant to stay where you are. You were not created to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that no longer serve your purpose. And this is where another shift begins. When God is about to give you something big, people will start leaving your life. Not all at once, but gradually. Friends you spoke to every day suddenly go quiet. Relationships that once felt solid begin to weaken. People you trusted start distancing themselves, and you cannot explain why. At first, it hurts. You replay conversations. You wonder what you did wrong. You blame yourself. But understand this clearly. Not everyone is meant to go where God is taking you. When God elevates you, He does not only bless you, He protects you. And sometimes protection looks like separation. Some people were only meant to walk with you for a season, and when that season ends, God allows circumstances to shift so they naturally fade away, not because they were bad people, but because their presence is no longer aligned with your purpose. This is not rejection, this is redirection. Some people were comfortable with the old version of you, the one who played small, the one who doubted, the one who stayed in cycles that drained you. But the version of you that God is shaping now makes them uncomfortable. Your growth exposes what they refuse to face. Your elevation highlights their stagnation. And rather than rise with you, they choose to step away. Let them. Because elevation requires separation. And when God is about to give you something big, He removes anyone who cannot be trusted with your future. Do not beg people to stay. Do not chase those who walk away. Trust that God knows exactly what He is doing. Because what He is preparing for you is far greater than what you are losing. And just when you think the loss is too much, something else begins to happen. You start receiving confirmations that cannot be ignored. Not coincidences, not random moments. Clear, undeniable signals that God is speaking directly to you. You hear the same message repeated through different voices. A sermon echoes what you have been praying about. A song plays at the exact moment you needed clarity. A stranger says something that confirms what has been in your heart all along. You might be thinking about a decision, and suddenly every sign around you points in the same direction. Or you feel an unexplainable peace about something that makes no sense logically. While others question it, deep down you know this is where you are meant to be. That peace is not emotion. That is God letting you know He has already gone ahead of you. Sometimes the confirmation comes through dreams. Sometimes through sudden ideas that feel inspired rather than imagined. Thoughts that arrive fully formed, carry weight and clarity you did not create on your own. God sends confirmation because He knows doubt will try to creep in. He knows fear will attempt to pull you back, so He reassures you again and again until you cannot ignore it. But here is the danger. God is always speaking. The question is whether you are listening. If you pray for direction but ignore the confirmations, you may miss the very thing you asked for. When confirmation comes, it is not only to comfort you, it is to prepare you. And preparation leads to testing. Because when God is about to give you something big, your faith will be tested like never before. Not small challenges, not everyday stress. Tests that shake you to your core. Tests that make you question your plans, your purpose, and sometimes even your relationship with God. Things begin falling apart all at once. The job does not work out. The relationship ends unexpectedly. The opportunity slips through your fingers, and suddenly fear shows up louder than ever. You ask God why He would allow this, but He is not punishing you. He is refining you. God removes everything that cannot go with you into the next season. He teaches you to trust Him when you cannot see the outcome. Because faith is not proven when everything is going well. Faith is proven in the storm. Faith is believing when there is no evidence. When logic says it is over. When resources are gone. When people leave. When the situation looks impossible. And here's the real test. How will you respond? Will you give up? Will you let fear control you? Or will you stand firm, trusting that God is still in control even when nothing makes sense? God watches how you handle this season. Because the blessing you are asking for is not just about receiving. It is about becoming. You must become the person who can carry what you are praying for. And that requires unshakable faith. And if you stay faithful now, when the breakthrough comes, you will be ready. But there is still more unfolding. When your faith is being tested at its deepest level, something unexpected begins to happen. After the pressure, after the losses, after the confusion, doors start opening in ways you did not plan for. Opportunities begin showing up without warning, not small ones, not ordinary ones, but moments that feel strangely timed, perfectly placed, almost too aligned to be coincidence. You may have spent years knocking on doors that never opened. You sent applications, you made connections, you put in effort, and nothing moved. Silence followed your work. Rejection followed your prayers. And then suddenly, everything shifts. A call comes from someone you never expected. A door opens that you never even knocked on. A conversation leads to an opportunity you never imagined. People you have never met before step into your life and change the direction of your future. These moments are not luck. They are not accidents. They are divine alignment. God does not rush, but when the time is right, He moves suddenly. What is interesting is that these opportunities rarely come the way you expected. They may not match the picture you had in your mind. They may require you to step out of your comfort zone. They may ask you to trust God in a way you never have before. This is where discernment matters. Not every opportunity looks perfect on the surface. Some come disguised as risk. Some require you to walk away from what feels safe. Some require faith before clarity. And this is the test within the blessing. God does not always place the reward directly in your hands. He places a door in front of you and waits to see if you will walk through it. If you are too focused on how you think things should happen, you may miss what God is doing right in front of you. If you are waiting for everything to make sense, you may hesitate at the very moment you are meant to move. Faith does not mean having all the answers. Faith means moving forward even when you only see the next step. And when these unexpected opportunities appear, fear will try to stop you. Doubt will remind you of past failures. Your mind will replay every reason you should stay where you are. But this is the moment everything depends on. Because when God presents opportunity, He is not just offering you a blessing, He is inviting you into transformation. If you say yes, your life changes. If you hesitate too long, the door may not stay open. This is why preparation matters. This is why the testing came first. God prepares you in private so you can move boldly in public. And when you look back, you will realize the struggle was shaping your courage. The loss was sharpening your discernment. The pressure was strengthening your faith. Nothing was wasted. This is why God does not simply give big blessings without preparation. Because what He is about to place in your hands carries weight, responsibility, influence, purpose, and He will not give it to a version of you that is not ready. That is why He refined your character. That is why He removed distractions. That is why He allowed your faith to be tested. Every closed door, every painful goodbye, every restless night, every season of confusion was shaping you for this moment. You were not being rejected, you were being positioned. The obstacles you faced were not signs of delay. They were signs that alignment was happening. And now, as the opportunities begin to appear, the question is not whether God is moving. The question is whether you are willing to move with Him. Because when God is about to give you something big, He does not force it into your life. He invites you to step into it. And that invitation requires courage. Courage to let go of what feels familiar. Courage to trust without seeing the full picture. Courage to believe that what God promised is greater than what you are leaving behind. If you are in this season right now, pay attention. If things feel like they have been shaking, it is because God was clearing the ground. If people have left, it is because they were not meant to walk with you into the next chapter. If your faith has been stretched, it is because God was strengthening you for what is coming. And if opportunities are starting to appear unexpectedly, do not ignore them. This is your confirmation. God does not prepare without purpose. He does not refine without reward. And He does not test without intention. You are closer than you think. And this brings everything together. When God is about to give you something big, He prepares you completely. He challenges you. He redirects you. He separates you. He confirms His plan. He tests your faith. And then at the right moment, He aligns opportunity with obedience. None of it is random. If you have felt opposition, it is because growth was happening. If you have felt uncomfortable, it is because transformation was taking place. If you have felt uncertain, it is because you were stepping out of the old and into the new. Do not let fear convince you to stop now. Stand firm, stay faithful. Keep moving forward even when the process feels uncomfortable. Because when God gives, He gives with purpose. And when the moment arrives, you will not just step into a blessing. You will step into the destiny He has been preparing for you all along. And the best part is this. What is coming will make sense of everything you went through, and you will realize that nothing fell apart. It all fell into place. One day you will look back at this season and realize it was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to define you. What felt like confusion was actually clarity forming. What felt like delay was alignment happening in the background. What felt like loss was God clearing space for what could not fit into your old life. Right now, you may still be in the middle of it. You may not see the full picture yet. You may still be asking questions. You may still feel tired, unsure, and stretched. And that is okay. Because understanding often comes after obedience, not before it. Here is what matters most in this moment. You do not quit. You do not go back to what God already pulled you out of. You do not settle just because the waiting feels uncomfortable. You stay steady. You stay faithful. You stay open. Because when God is about to release something big into your life, he makes sure you are ready to carry it. He makes sure your faith is strong enough to withstand criticism. He makes sure your character is solid enough to handle success. He makes sure your heart is healed enough to receive without fear. He makes sure your mind is disciplined enough to walk in wisdom. That is why the process felt intense. That is why it felt lonely. That is why it felt like everything was being stripped away. God was not taking from you. He was investing in you. And the reward is not just what you will receive. The reward is who you have become. You are not the same person you were before this season. You see differently now. You pray differently now. You move differently now. You trust differently now. And that is how you know something has shifted. The blessing that is coming will require discernment. It will require humility. It will require responsibility. And because of what you have been through, you will be able to handle it. This is the part most people miss. They focus only on the outcome. But God focuses on the transformation. Because if he gives you the blessing, without shaping you first, it would overwhelm you, it would distract you, it would damage you instead of developing you. So he prepares you slowly, carefully, intentionally. And now you are closer than you have ever been. Even if it does not look like it yet, even if the final door is not fully opened yet, even if the answer has not fully arrived yet, what you need to understand is this. God does not bring you this far to abandon you. He does not awaken your spirit without intention. He does not disrupt your comfort without purpose. If you feel like everything around you has been shifting, it is because you are being repositioned. If you feel like you no longer fit where you used to be, it is because you were not meant to stay there. If you feel like something big is coming, but you cannot explain it, it is because God has already spoken it into your spirit. And when it finally happens, when the breakthrough arrives, when the door fully opens, when the opportunity becomes clear, you will understand why it could not have happened any sooner. You will understand why certain people had to leave. You will understand why certain doors had to close. You will understand why the pressure had to increase. You will understand why your faith had to be tested, because the version of you that existed before would not have been able to handle what God is giving you now. But this version can. So hold on. Do not rush the process. Do not compare your journey to anyone else. Do not doubt what God has already confirmed. Stay focused, stay prayerful, stay obedient. Because when God is about to give you something big, he finishes what he starts. And what is ahead will be worth everything you endured to get there. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not off track. You are being prepared. And soon, very soon, you will step into what God has been preparing for you all along. Everything you have heard up to this point leads to this truth. Nothing you went through was random. Nothing you lost was wasted. Nothing that broke was meaningless. It was all working together to move you into position. You were not being delayed. You were being prepared. You were not being rejected. You were being redirected. You were not falling apart. You were being rebuilt for something bigger. The pressure, the confusion, the closed doors, the restlessness, the people leaving, the faith being tested, all of it was shaping you into someone who can handle what is coming next. Because what God is preparing to give you is not small. And it cannot be carried by the old version of you. That is why the process felt uncomfortable. That is why it felt lonely. That is why it felt like you were walking by faith more than sight. God was removing what could not go where he is taking you. He was strengthening what needed to last. He was teaching you how to trust him even when nothing made sense. And here's what you need to remember when doubt tries to return. God never starts something he does not plan to finish. He never awakens your spirit without purpose. He never stretches your faith without intention. If you are still standing after everything you have faced, that alone is proof that God's hand has been on your life this entire time. You are closer than you think, closer than it looks, closer than it feels. The breakthrough does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it arrives quietly. Sometimes it begins as an idea, a connection, a door slightly opening, a sense of peace that makes no logical sense. But once it starts, everything begins to align. And when it finally happens, when the blessing becomes clear, when the opportunity fully opens, when the purpose reveals itself, you will look back and understand why the struggle had to happen first. You will see that God was not saying no. He was saying not yet. You will see that what felt like loss was actually protection. You will see that what felt like delay was actually perfect timing. And most importantly, you will realize that you had to become this version of yourself to receive what was meant for you. So do not quit now. Do not go back now. Do not give up in the middle of preparation. Stay faithful. Stay alert. Stay willing. Because when God is about to give you something big, He finishes the work in you before he releases the work through you. And when it arrives, you will not just receive a blessing. You will step fully into the purpose and destiny that was being prepared for you all along. Do like and subscribe our channel. Thanks for the support.